everybody, so today's video is a review of episode 6 of season 7 of Once Upon a Time. I finally got the episode working for me, so I was able to watch it with sound and no buffering or anything like that. It went great. So, whew, I'm glad. So, technology wise, it was in my favor. I do want to just once again discuss this week's episode just real fast. I know I'm supposed to be reviewing episode 6, but I just wanted to clear something up. And just in case, I did mention that I did like the little scene with Hook and baby Alice, and he's singing the lullaby. I did like that scene. I just didn't like how Alice was conceived. I have a problem with how Alice was conceived. They could have easily just had Hook just sleep with Gothel, and then that would have been better. You know, I mean, I don't know why Gothel needed to trick him into sex like she did. I mean, she can be like, I'll tell you where to get, the flower, where to get that flower if you, have sex with me and give me half of it, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have to trick him. And I didn't like that there was that deception, and I feel like the writers shouldn't do rape storylines if they're not going to address it as rape, deal with the issues and the consequences of rape, and also think about like Robin and Alice. They are two children that were conceived through rape. There are also things that happen to those children. There are people out there who are children that were conceived through rape, and there are a lot of problems for them. Their mom or dad might resent them. There might be emotional abuse. I mean, there's all kinds of issues. I'm glad that, Robin and Hook didn't look at their children. Somebody's here. What was I saying? Sorry. I'm glad that Robin and Hook aren't looking at Alice and Robin in that way. But there still should be, oh my god, this child exists because something horrible happened to me. They need that conversation. They need that talk. They need to deal with the consequences of what happened and not brush it under the rug. And I just hope, I know they're not going to do that. They didn't do it with Robin. In fact, they actually killed Robin off. And that makes me wonder if Wish Hook is going to get killed off as well. Because, I mean, it is looking like this might be the last season of Once Upon a Time based on the ratings, based on the fan reaction. I'd say like 90% of fans aren't happy with this season in some way, shape, or form. There's, a very small percentage of fans that actually do enjoy this season. I just, knowing that they didn't talk about rape before, and I did focus more on the male victims with their female attackers. There are instances where it's been I didn't mention Neil first, because Neil was older than Emma, because Emma was like 17 when they started having sex. Because if you do the math, and add all up, Emma had to have been 17 at the conception of Henry. So that's, and in the state of Oregon where they were, that's illegal. It's called statutory rape. So there is that. It wasn't dealt with really either. The fact that Emma was young when, if I was Snow White and Charming, I probably wouldn't have named their son Neil, knowing that he was a 20-something-year-old having sex with a 17-year-old. I know a lot of people focus, well, she was 17, she knew what, She's still a minor. No, I can't. It's just, that's gross. Like, wait until, like, if he had been like, if she had been like 24 and he'd been 28 or something like that, that would have been fine. But she's 17 and she's still legally considered a child. So, but a lot of issues on this show, and I do, yes, I do acknowledge that there have been instances where male characters on the show said things that are very questionable, such as Hook. Again, the writers really need to think before they write. They need to make, like, Hook should have never said some of the stuff he said. In regards to this issue, like, I think I'm gonna butcher the line. I didn't write it down or anything. It's season 3. It's in the last 2 episodes. It's in the past. It's past Hook. Emma's distracting him while the other Hook is trying to get to Snow White. He says the line, "Are you trying to get me drunk?" That's usually my tactic, I think. It's something along those lines. Hook never should have said that. One, because that does happen. Men and women, because men can get raped too. There are people out there that do get other people drunk and have sex with them without their consent. Obviously, in the show, however, within the canon, what is shown within the episodes, we don't see Hook actually raping anybody, but they should have never had him utter that line, because it makes him come across as a rapist, which is not what you want. Again, because if you're not going to talk about it, then don't put it in the storyline, because you need to deal with the issues and the consequences. I am not able to speak today, I'm sorry. And the consequences of those actions on the victims, the emotional trauma, the physical trauma even. If there's a child involved, what about the child and how they're going to grow up and all this stuff. So I still think it's an important conversation that needs to move forward, and the writers need to acknowledge it and deal with it. Because if they're just going to sweep it under the rug, it's just going to keep the problem going. You might think, oh, it's just a TV show. But it's not, because this issue does happen in real life. Yes, people don't use magic to rape people, but they use drugs, they use alcohol, they use, all kinds of things that are out there. They can use blackmail, they can, violence. Sorry, I'm just really upset that there are people that are okay with what happened on the show and not seeing that it's a problem. They could have, like I said, sorry, I have an itch. I just wish the writers would just own up. I'd feel better in that way if they owned up and said, this is it, and we acknowledge that we didn't do the storyline right or something, but I know they're not, and this is, I think, my biggest problem with the show, and that's all I'm going to say. Alright, I want to go ahead. I need to stop, because I can talk about this for hours. I'm going to go ahead and do episode 6. This episode was okay. And, there was a lot of, I feel like these episodes this season, there's like at least like 3-4 storylines going on in one episode. It's really hard to keep track. And you have, Rogers over here doing the Eloise Gardner storyline. You have Ivy and Regina going on, and then you have Jacinda. I was like, why am I blanking on the name? Jacinda and Henry going on, and it's all kinds of crazy. I wish they would just do 2 storylines, Regina, Drusilla in the past, and then do Regina and Drusilla in the present, and focus on those 2 storylines, and then have them go through, and then when you do a whole episode dedicated to Henry and Jacinda, you can go back and add those scenes in from that we missed or something like that. I feel like I'm trying to remember how, if there was any instances where I felt like there was too many things going on in the previous seasons, but I can't come up with them. I'll figure it out, and I'll put an example in another review later. The Hook or Rogers and Tilly scenes, they were nice, but they could have been put in this week's episode. To be honest, it fit more. It felt very out of place since this was supposed to be the Regina episode. Rumple was in like 3 scenes. He was missing in episode 5, which is crazy. Robert Carlyle, really, it's his last season. You would think they would want him in more scenes, knowing that this is his last season. I just find it odd that they're really underusing him. I'm hoping there's at least another Rumple episode coming up, or that he's more involved somehow. I don't know what's going on with him, but I think they need to figure something out for Rumple, because unless this is what Robert Carlyle wanted, this is what he agreed to or something like that, that could be a possibility. But I do think he's not really involved much, is he? I think, I don't know what's going on with Regina, but she should have known that Drizella was going to end up being like her in a way in the past. I mean, there were so many instances, you had Tinkerbell trying to help Regina and all kinds of things like that in the past. Like, I think she should have realized that, she was gonna create the person that was gonna cause all the troubles, because it's her. Drizella's pretty much Regina, just without the Daniel storyline. It's, now it's the sister that's more loved than her type of thing instead. Adeline Kane actually was very amazing in this episode. I'm finally seeing why people say she's a really good actress, because she really didn't get much to do in the previous episode, so it's nice to actually get to see her do something. I do like her being evil. I do wonder if I still think this is last season based on the ratings, but if they squeak by and they get a season 8, maybe Drizella will start her redemption arc, possibly, like Regina did, because she is very similar to Regina. Again, I would have preferred, something different, just because I've already seen this character. In fact, she's in this season. It's Regina. I've seen Regina. I've seen her backstory, with the mother that's horrible and controlling and unloving before. And I don't want to see it. I don't need to see it again. I want something different. Let's see what else. Henry in this episode was so adorable. So he was cute and dorky and nerdy, and I love him. I love Andrew J. West as Henry. I think he's doing a really good job, and he feels like Henry. Like when he did, whips out a Star Wars quote or talks about, 80s music and John Hughes movies, he feels like Henry from the past 6 seasons. But when you get to when he gets to all that, jaded adultness, he doesn't feel like Henry that much. But in those scenes, it's like, oh, it's Henry all grown up. And it's nice. And I love those scenes. I love when he's holding the boombox and he's like this, and then she's like, what are you doing? And I love the bit where she agrees to let him help her, and he goes like this, right? He does that. And he's all like, yes! And he stops when she turns around. He's like, oh, I wasn't doing anything. He's adorable. That's it. That's the word. Adorable, and dorky, right? Together. Right. I love Henry. Like, he's my standout for this episode, I think, is Andrew J. West for those little cute, dorky zines. Nerdy, and his nerdiness. I love it. Just like this week's episodes, too. I'm glad Henry's coming out and coming back. You know, instead of having, Henry try to be like Emma, doesn't believe in magic or anything like that. It's like nice that you have something from Henry that we're used to. But however, I'm still not feeling their relationship. I think it is better than before. Like, it's improving, but I feel like I don't know if it's Danya's acting or the writing or the way she's being directed or something like that. I don't know what it is about Cinderella. It's just not working for me. Her and Henry, it's not clicking. Like, I feel like Henry needs somebody else. Who? I don't know. I really don't. Like, I don't know who I would put with for Henry. Maybe somebody from this world instead, like that likes, Star Wars and John Hughes movies and 80s music. Maybe that's what he needs. I don't know. I really can't. I can't think of someone that would be perfect for Henry. Maybe Cinderella will get better, although we're 8 episodes in and I'm still saying I'm not feeling it from her. So I don't think Cinderella's gonna improve that much. Maybe she will. Maybe I'll be surprised. Who knows? Of course, the big reveal is that we've woken Regina up in this episode. I did mention that in my other review. I do wonder what Ivy or Drusilla has planned for Regina. Why she woke her up. If maybe just to taunt her and be like, haha, you can't break the curse or something like that. I don't know. That's all I can think of. I guess we'll find out, hopefully. But I do still think, it's odd that Regina's gonna just sit back and not and let Drusilla tell her what to do. That doesn't seem right for me. Like, that seems out of place for Regina as a character. I feel like Regina should be like working on a way to break whatever it is that Drusilla has done and break the curse without losing someone she loves, which is probably just Henry or Lucy. I don't know if she gets along with Cinderella at this point in time. I doubt she cares if Rumple or something happens to Rumple or Hook, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I don't think her and Hook are the best of friends, or her and Rumple. I know Rumple was a mentor, and they had that weird romance that happened. That was new. I don't know what they were thinking when they had. I know there were fans that put Rumple and Regina together, but I didn't want to see it. That was, no, I didn't like that last season. What else? I did like the scene with Rumple and Regina in the past. That was, oh wait, that was there's 4 scenes with Robert Kyle, now that I think about it. I liked that scene though. That scene was wonderful, and I liked that scene between the two of them. It's a very like mentor and student type of thing, something that we were used to, before. I liked it, and I liked, getting to hear, that Regina at least knows what happens to Belle, whether Henry or anything, Henry or anyone else does. That's up for debate. What else? Anything else to say? And this episode was okay. I mean, overall, the important stuff was what happened with Regina and Drusilla. That Regina was the one that trained Drusilla in how to use magic. It's I'm about 95% sure that she's the one that cast the curse, and that Regina's awake. Those are like the three main points of this episode. And other than that, you know, everything else is kind of like you can forget about it, and it's not important type of stuff. But I mean, this episode was okay. I'd give it a B overall. I mean, they could have done more. I do think Drizella learned magic very fast. That was very surprising. I mean, how long did it take Regina to master a fireball before? Like, I know she's born with magic, but even that, you know, I mean, even Emma, like, had struggled to learn magic, and who else? Oh, well, I guess Drusilla's kind of like Zelina in that regard. Okay, alright, now that I think about it, so she's kind of like Zelina in the magic department. So, anyways, other than that,